Caution. Side effects include groan-worthy puns and a sudden urge to tell everyone in the car, "Don't make me turn this podcast around."
Hey, welcome back to Dad Space, podcast for dads by dads. I hope you're having a great day. It's Dave. I'm glad to be here with you. Talking about how our kids see us. It changes over time. As your kids watch you grow and as you watch your kids grow, their opinion of you can change. And over time, they see you differently. So I want to talk to you about that here on Dad Space. 3 different phases of dad from your kid's point of view here on Dad Space. I'm glad you're here. Let's jump in and chat about this. And please share this episode with another dad. Let them know that you're listening to Dad Space and you're kind of enjoying it. Thank you for being here. Here we go. As a dad, we have a relationship with our kids, hopefully. And through the years, that relationship changes a little bit. It grows, it expands, it matures. And our kids see us in different ways as they grow up. When they're tiny, they see us as one way. And then as they grow older, it changes. And then it changes again when your little tiny kids become adults. And it's interesting to see the development of how they view us as dads and what it looks like when your kids get older. My kids are all adult kids now. And it's interesting to see how they've changed and how their relationship with me has changed over the years. There's actually 3 powerful emotional phases in our relationship with our kids as dads. There's the part where our kids idolize us. They look up to us. Big, strong dad. Like, we toss them around. We can drive a car. We know how to use tools. Like, wow, dad can do everything, right? Our kids look at us like we're superhumans. We're dad. And they idolize us. Our kids, as they grow older, though, go from idolizing us to demonizing us, which is very interesting. And then they go from demonizing us to humanizing us. A totally different outlook on us as dads. We're going to talk about all 3. Idolizing, demonizing, and humanizing. The 3 different aspects of how kids see dads and how your kids will see you over time. This episode explores the evolution of how our kids see their fathers as they age and grow in understanding about who dad is. I'm glad you're here. Over time and through experience, perspective reshapes for our kids on how they see us. When our kids are young, fathers are the hero who can do absolutely no wrong. Think back to when you were a kid, tiny. You looked at your dad like, wow. Like, wow, right? Hopefully that's your story. I know looking back at my dad, it didn't seem human. He just seemed to have everything perfect. And all I could do was try to keep up as a little kid to my dad. I really admired my dad. He was a great guy. And I learned a lot from him. And I modeled my life around him. And feel like I'm kind of like a new version of him. As I look in the mirror and I hear people talk about him and how I remind them of my dad, he had a big impact on me. And I idolized him as a kid. I just looked up to him and he could do no wrong. He's just the way he was. And how he carried himself is how I carry myself. And I am a carbon copy, photocopy of my dad. Pretty much. A little bit of tweaking here and there, but I would say the majority of who I am and how I show up in this world This is my dad. And that's why I'm the way I am. I idolized him. But then there came a time growing up where things changed. And I think it's based on the idea that, and the fact that as we grow up and as we turn into nasty teenagers, we try to find our own identity. We don't want to be so much be our dad. We want to be something other than our dad. I can remember my father coming to my high school, and he was doing some kind of presentation or something, and the whole school was there. And I don't really remember what was going on, but I just know that he was up on stage. And they introduced him, and we have the same last name. And everyone looks at me and goes, "Is that your dad?" I'm like, "No." I downplayed it. I didn't want anything to do with it. And the fact that my dad was there, no matter what he was there to talk about, I didn't want my identity to be wrapped up on that guy, with that guy on the stage, who, when I was younger, I idolized. But in that moment of high school and trying to be cool and different and be my own person, I didn't want people to associate me with him, that guy up on stage. And even though it felt wrong to do that, I felt like I was justified because I didn't want to be associated with an adult when I was a teenager. And I regret that because I've always loved my dad. But in that moment, I felt like I couldn't be cool. I couldn't be accepted by my friends and still gush over that man up on stage who's my father. And that bothers me even to this day, years later, that I wasn't as proud of my dad in that moment that I could have. So in that moment, he went from being idolized as my idol growing up to demonized. Like, I don't want anything to do with that guy. And no, I'm not related to him. And no, I didn't want anything to do with him. He didn't do anything wrong. I just was trying to find my own way in life, and I didn't want to be associated with that version of him. And I don't even think he knew that I did that, really. And it still bothers me, like I said. As we grow into those teenage years, and your kids are going to do this for you, there's going to be a point in time when your kids go from admiring you to having disdain when you walk in the room, and eye rolling and huffing and not listening and thinking they're smarter when they're not, and thinking they have it all figured out when they don't. And our heroes come down a notch as our kids grow older. Again, we go from idolizing our parents to demonizing our parents. As children or young adults, we often swing to the opposite extreme from worshiping our parents and worshiping our dads. We blame them for flaws and mistakes. We pick away at them for who they are. But the next step in all of this is the interesting part. With age and reflection, we begin to see them as actual people, like humans. We see them as people shaped by their own stories, pain, and imperfections. As we begin to see our dads in a different light, and your kids are going to see you in a different light, there's a chance for forgiveness, empathy, and that we can acknowledge our Father's humanity can actually free us from any form of resentment we might have with how we were raised and how our Father raised us, the decisions they make. Because remember that even though you looked up to your dad as like the ultimate in humanity and leadership and example, they're just a guy trying hard to do his best with the limited amount of knowledge and information that they have at any given time. There's a quote that I love it's attributed to Theodore Roosevelt, but it says, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." Do what you can with what you have where you are. And I think that as dads, We don't have all the answers. We're expected to know everything, but we don't have all the answers. So we do what we can. And we do what we can with what we have, which is limited knowledge and experience. And we do what we can with what we have where we are. Like we're not going to go take a course and go away to school for 4 years and come back to be dad. We're doing it. It's on the job training. And we're learning as we go. We're doing what we can with what we have where we are. We're just humans. And I don't think as kids we realize how human our dad is. And I don't think your kids realize how human you are. You are not perfect. And my dad was not perfect. But he did what he could with what he had where he was. And that's all you're going to expect from anybody. And it's all your kids expect from you. And when you make a mistake and you fail, you get back up, you move forward, and your kids see you grow. We do what we can with what we have where we are. I think this helps when we start to humanize. We go from idolizing our parents to demonizing our parents to humanizing our parents. I think this really helps to kind of tie it all together. When our kids are young, they look up to us as dads, as their hero, who can fix anything and know everything. We're the source of all knowledge when our kids are little. They haven't figured out AI yet and Google. So we're it. And as they grow older, the pedestal that we're on starts to wobble a little bit when they realize that, wait a minute, dad doesn't know everything. And then they demonize us. And this phase really emerges when our kids begin to see our imperfections. Authority starts to feel restricting, discipline can sting, and rebellion finds its own voice in this stage. Yet with time and maturity and perspective, something profound happens. Sons begin to humanize their fathers. They see them not as a flawless role model or an antagonist who's just there to cause problems, but as real men with their own struggles, stories, and we have our own scars. This moment of reconciliation and empathy, this is where love and understanding can replace judgment and resentment. Why does this matter for dads? Research shows that how fathers model emotional openness and resilience deeply shapes their sons' mental health, empathy, and their sense of masculinity. There's a study in the National Center for Biotechnology Information, which emphasizes that the father-son relationship is framed around empathy and emotional availability. This helps young men and women, our kids, to develop confidence, communication skills, and healthier relationships with others as they work through this with their parents. Dads who demonstrate both strength and being vulnerable at the same time raise kids who are more adaptable and more emotionally aware. And this transformation from authority figure to human connection is a cornerstone for generational healing. So here's some takeaways that you and I can put into place as dads, as our kids go from idolizing, demonizing, to humanizing our role in their lives. Some takeaways. I've been reflecting on which phase I'm currently living in, and with your own father or with your own kids, where are you at? Are you idolizing, demonizing, or humanizing right now? And what are your kids feeling? Always lead with curiosity as well. Just understand that the experiences that shaped your dad help soften any resentment you may have towards him. Model emotional honesty with your kids. Let them see you fail Let them see you repair and let them see you grow. That transparency teaches love in motion. And remember, forgiveness isn't weakness. It's a bridge that connects generations. Every father and son and daughter will eventually confront the mirror of time and empathy. In seeing our dads as humans, we not only reclaim compassion for them, we redefine what it truly means to be a dad ourselves. As your kids see you transform, and as they see you lean into your humanity, be aware that your kids are going to go through those 3 steps. They're going to idolize you when they're young. They're going to demonize you when they're trying to find their own identity. And then they're going to come back and they're going to humanize you. And I wish we could skip the middle step and just go from idolizing to humanizing, but there's that middle piece, and that's going to be part of your story. So be aware of it and understand that there's something better coming. If you're in that stage right now, it will pass, and something better is coming for you down the road. So where are you at? Are you being idolized by your kids? Are you being demonized by your kids? Or are you being humanized by your kids? Something to think about as dads. And I don't think we talk about this often enough. But be aware of it. Keep it in your mind and watch the signs. Be aware of it. And then just live your life in front of your kids, not as a life of perfection, but as a life of real choices, real consequences, real learnings, being a real human being. No facade. Let your kids see you. Let them see your struggles. Let them see your wins. Don't hide this behind the bedroom door and keep them from seeing who you are. Let them see the real you. And I'm glad you're here on Dad Space. If you have any thoughts about this, I'd love to hear your thoughts over at dadspace.ca. Hearing from you makes my day and makes me want to come back and do another episode. So thank you so much. Here for you. This is a space for dads, right? So we'll always hold a space for you. Appreciate you guys. Take care, and we'll talk to you in the next episode. Thanks for being here. Hey, thanks for being here on Dad Space. Really appreciate you being part of the show. We are getting really close to November. November is going to have daily episodes for the entire month. So 30 episodes in 30 days are coming to you here on Dad Space. And your phone's not broken. The internet's not broken. You haven't stepped into some other time portal or anything. No. We're doing 30 episodes in 30 days on Dad Space. It's a challenge. We're also focusing on Movember. So if you don't know what Movember is, it's a month where we focus in the month of November. We do Movember, and it's all about men's mental health, physical health, and encouraging you to live a healthy life, be healthy with your relationships, and don't do this alone. It's Movember in November on Dad Space. Excited to be with you and to share this with you. 30 episodes, 30 days. I hope you enjoy. And if you're participating in Movember, great. If not, share this episode, share this podcast, and we'll see you for 30 episodes in a row. I'm really excited. Looking forward to seeing what happens this month. Movember, November, here on Dad Space. Thanks for being here. Take care.